Good evening. Tonight's dinner is brought to you by pork adobo. I had a Filipino friend once make me pork adobo, and it was the best thing I'd ever tasted. And so I wanted to make it, and she couldn't tell me what the recipe was because her mom made it. So since then, I've put together what I call pork adobo, but I don't think it's a real recipe. So if you have a real recipe, I'd love to try yours. But mine is just soy sauce, ginger, a little bit of honey, salt, and lemon pepper. So we're gonna try this recipe today in our Instapot because we love our Instapot and it's gonna make things go much quicker. So to start out with, we are going to brown the pork that we have already cut into 1-inch cubes, and we're gonna get that not sauteing, but just browned so that it absorbs or holds the moisture in the meat.
I think when you brown it in the Instapot, and the meat comes out, it just looks better and tastes better. I don't know what it is. The other day, what did we do? And we didn't brown it, and it's better browned.
Yeah, it enhances the flavor. And you can do this in your Instapot on the saute feature. But I really love my cast iron skillet, and it just makes it quick and easier. And I like the brown that I get on it. It's a little bit crunchier.
So we're gonna brown the pork, and we've got onions that we're gonna also add in there with them.
Actually, why don't you start the saute function, and we'll add the onions to the saute because they'll saute fine in the Instapot without needing to brown. Would you like some olive oil?
Yes. So I'm behind the camera browning onions, trying to get it together.
And I just did a little sea salt, and I'm doing our favorite Trader Joe's lemon pepper.
Here's what your onion's gonna look like that you're gonna brown. Just throw them in like that and saute them while the meat's browning. While that's going and doing that, you know what, hun? You probably should start your sauce.
Okay. So I'm gonna start with about a half a cup of soy sauce.
This is like watching paint dry to get to a half a cup.
You can take that lid off.
I know, but then I feel like it just comes flying out. Where's the half a cup? That's a third. You see a half a cup over there? Tell me when.
You're fine.
How much honey?
I would do a tablespoon of honey. You want a tablespoon?
Yes, please.
A big fat one. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, and then before we started, I grated, it looks like the Guy Beaker from Muppets. I grated on the tiny grates of my cheese grater fresh ginger, which is delicious. That's the fresh ginger I grated. So we're gonna add that. Ginger also adds a little bit of a spice sometimes.
You're gonna add garlic to it?
Oh yeah. You have the garlic?
Yep.
Yep.
How much ginger would you say that is?
Oh, maybe a teaspoon.
One clove of garlic. Whisk. And hopefully all this honey gets off of there. I see that knife.
Yes.
Get all this honey out.
Why is it so?
So here's the sauce. You have the honey in there. I'm mixing it.
Okay.
You want to do that?
Why is it splattering so much?
So she goes tends to her wounds now. Just kind of want to get the meat browned on all sides. Get a little crust on it. And as this cooks, you just kind of transfer to the plate, and then that'll go in with the onions that are sauteing behind you. Give you a little quick picture of the onions. And that's what's going in the Instapot. And when this is all done, you got this meat, we'll pull this off. It's just a quick browning. Okay.
All right, huge ingredient I forgot to mention in the sauce. We have soy sauce, a little bit of honey to cut the soy sauce, but rice wine vinegar. This is apple cider vinegar because I don't have any rice wine vinegar. So we're gonna add
Some kind of vinegar.
vinegar. I already added some water to cut the soy sauce. So we're gonna add about a half a cup of the vinegar. And I added a splash of vinegar to the onions to deglaze the bottom so that it's, did everything come up? Because you don't want anything sticking to the bottom. And we're gonna taste this sauce. Excellent. Excellent, excellent.
It is deglazed.
All right, we're gonna dump all the ingredients into the Instapot. Add a little bit of extra pepper because I like pepper. What do you want me to hand you?
Nothing. You want me to just put these in and you want to keep turning those?
No, they're fine. We also started 1 cup of rinsed jasmine rice in our rice cooker.
Tell them why you should rinse your rice.
It takes all the starch off and it leaves you fluffy, delicious rice every time without sticking to the bottom. Okay. What am I doing?
Let's put it in.
Okay.
So, you just add that in there, and it smells delicious. Too bad they haven't introduced video that you can smell it.
Smell-o-vision. All the garlic and gingers at the bottom.
Along with the honey.
Okay.
Scrape that. And now,
Because we sauteed it and it's in cubes, we're gonna do this for 30 minutes on meat. Sorry, cancel. On meat. Doesn't need more than 30 minutes. And we're gonna close that and set to pressure. All right, chicken adobo. we're going to spoon it out into this dish. And then I'm going to add a little bit of cornstarch to thicken up the sauce here.
What are you putting it on there to thicken up the sauce?
I'm adding it to the saute section so that it will heat up, because the cornstarch needs high heat to thicken up the sauce. Okay, we're going to add a little bit of cornstarch and water to our boiling sauce and let that thicken up.
How long do you need to let it thicken up for, or how long does it take?
A minute, or it's already starting to go. A minute maybe. Can you see it?
I can see it.
And it just depends on how thick you like it. If you like it super thick, you can add a little more. I don't like it too thick.
And what do you use to make the cornstarch? Or what do you put with this cornstarch?
Cold water.
How much cornstarch in the water?
About a teaspoon to, this is 4 ounces of water. So half a cup of cold water and a teaspoon of cornstarch. All right, we're gonna turn this off and we're gonna pour our sauce over the adobo. Perfect.
And we're gonna have that with that. And there's pork adobo.